Okay, welcome back. It's been a while since I believe, but welcome back to our next special shiur. Now, Be'ezer Hashem, I will be going around sometime this afternoon to give out all those amazing prizes that were won in the last shiurim. So, if you don't get it by today, please tonight email ChabadYouthVirtual@gmail.com. Once again, ChabadYouthVirtual@gmail.com to make sure if you did not get your prize yet. I will be Bezim going around today. Of course, there are two raffles for last week. Number one, our famous Mesib Benas raffle. So if you made your own Mesib Benas, which you should, make sure you chaper on your family. Of course, that includes 12 psukim with our Torah. Of course, another amazing raffle was for Shabbos Mevarchim. So you decide on your prize if you win, depending on how much time you spent, that will be your prize. So please make sure on chabadyouth.org/virtual on our webpage, on chabadyouth.org/virtual. Please make sure you find the links over there to fill out, number one, your Mesibah Shabbos papers, as well as your Shabbos Mevarchim. Okay, let's get straight into it today. Another exciting day. And we're going to talk, of course, about Sefiras HaOmer. I know most of you are very familiar with it, but let's review some old stuff and perhaps a few new things that might be quite new to you. Now, let's talk about the actual bracha. As you know by now, you're meant to do it by night. Now, here's something I'll tell you about Sefiras HaOmer, which really applies to every special mitzvah. You are actually, because we need to be focused, as we always say, a soldier's got to be focused and not forget your mission. So there's actually rules what you're not allowed to do beforehand so you do not be distracted. The major things are you're not allowed to do any major work or major meals before. So by the way, when you get older, there is something called, I'm not sure if you know about this, I hope you do by now, it's something called Zaman Kriya Shema. For example, there's twice a day you are required from the Torah to say Shema. Uvishachbecha, when you lie down. Uvkubecha, when you wake up. So evening time, morning time is a time for Kriya Shema. If it's the afternoon, for example, is that wake up time? No, it's not. So there is actually a set time till when you're allowed to say, to when you should be saying Kriya Shema for the morning. Now, if one missed it, so example, the Mishnah, if you guys have, some of you I know learned Masechtas Brachos, and there we'll talk about the times for Shema. So it's how many hours into the day that is. So that's why if you notice on many calendars, we'll tell you, or many Zman, we'll tell you the Soiv Zman Kriya Shema. Kriya Shema, the ending time for morning. For example, today is about something I think about 9:20. Obviously, in winter when the day is shorter, so it depends on what time the morning starts. That's what time the end of Kriya Shema will be. Okay. Now, why am I telling you all this? Why not? So you know. Now, what happens if you miss Shema by mistake? You went to a wedding and you really needed there, and you went to sleep extremely late, and you woke up Rahmanul Itzlan after that time. So first of all, you should, like in yeshivas, even if it was a very late fabring, and they'll still knock on the doors, and they have what they call the veker, which is the waker, goes, Zman Kriya Shema, 5 minutes. So everyone jumps out of their bed. You put on a hat and jacket, you say Shema, and then you can go back to sleep. Then when you come to Shachris, you repeat Shema. Now, if Chas v'Shalom, you did not, you by mistake passed that time, so that's actually, you missed it. You can't get back that mitzvah. It's one of the 613 mitzvahs, and you missed the mitzvah, unfortunately. However, when you're davening, because also Kriya Shema has the special message of Shema Yisrael and Yetzias Mitzrayim, so you don't skip out Kriya Shema. Of course, even if you miss the time, you still say Kriya Shema, but you missed out a mitzvah. So we got to be careful. Why am I telling you all this mitzvahs? I told you why not. But number two, because, for example, people, you're not supposed to do anything before Shema. So Hasidim have a custom to eat before davening. Many people don't eat at all before davening. For the same reason, before you daven, you shouldn't be doing anything. However, Shulchan Aruch says if someone's not feeling well, they should eat, or if they're hungry and will be distracted. So the old Hasidic saying is, better eat for davening than davening for eating. In other words, when you're eating for the davening, so I'm eating a little bit, so my davening will be good. But if I'm davening to eat because I'm so hungry, I'm going to start davening faster. So instead of eating for davening, some people daven for eating. They daven quickly so they should get to their breakfast. So that's why the Chassidus Sheminig, the Lubavitch Sheminig especially, is to actually have a bite before breakfast. However, before davening. However, you still say Shema. So, of course, you can't do anything without brachas. So we say brachas. Then you'll notice that at least over bar mitzvah, you should maybe, if you're under bar, and even bas mitzvah, you could try to say Shema before you eat anything. So you'll notice that people say brachas, then they'll say Shema, and then only then they'll eat. Because you cannot eat before any big mitzvah, you'll know that by lulav and esrog. By the way, by shofar, right? So, of course, younger boys and girls, it's very hard to... everyone comes with their snack bag on Rosh Hashanah. So the same idea is because you can't do any eating, any distractions before you do the big mitzvah of the day. So that would be lulav on Sukkot, shofar on Rosh Hashanah. Now we did something similar. I don't know if you remember. Not too long ago, we had the same halacha. Anyone remembers? Scream it out. Scream it out. Anyone know?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Who remembers? Bedikas chametz. Yeah, so bedikas chametz, if you remember, we said we're not allowed to eat anything before the mitzvah, so not to be distracted. So same thing by Sefiras HaOmer, the mitzvah begins when? At night. So as soon as it's nightfall, or even a little before that, you should not start eating any meals or doing anything like that. Now, if so happens, for whatever reason, you're going to daven Ma'ariv later, so usually you should daven Ma'ariv, especially now, it's interesting, in our times, there's no reason why not to daven as soon as it gets dark and say Sefira. You should not be washing for food or having a big supper before Sefiras HaOmer. Now, obviously, if supper begins before nightfall, that's okay. If you're going to have to daven very late for some reason, then you should set a guard. Someone should tell you. You say, could you remind me at 9 o'clock? Of course, interesting, today with technology, you can actually set your own reminder in a phone, and there are actually apps that will remind you and will beep at a certain time to remind me, beep, beep, Sefiras HaOmer. Okay. Now, we're going to get to the hard part soon. Okay. Now, so if sometimes you're davening Ma'ariv a little bit early, you should better wait till the night and not bench. Now, what you could do is like this. A bracha, random bracha, and then go look for a fruit. You can't do that. You don't just say, new apple, new orange. Nah. You have to actually know what you're counting on. You have to know the mitzvah you're about to do. So interestingly, this might be new to you. You actually have to know what number it is when you make Hashem, when you say Hashem's name. When you actually make the bracha, you should already know what the number is. Now, you actually, to count, to do the real mitzvah, you actually have to know what it means in English or whatever language you might be speaking about. If you don't speak English, I'm not sure why you're watching this now. Nah. Okay, so what you do is, and I did that last time with my kids, I maybe should do it every night, and I said, and we're going to do it together in a moment. I'll tell you what I said, and we're actually going to do it here, and I'll tell you why. But as I mentioned, you should do it standing. When you do the bracha, you should already know what it is. Now, if you didn't know what it was, or let's say you thought today was the 9th day and it ended up being the 10th day, you are still yoitz. If you already made the bracha, that is fine. Like any mitzvah, once you say the bracha, do not say anything else. Count right away. We always brought the example. If you say ha'etz and then you start asking for things, you're not allowed to do it. Once you say ha'etz, you should not say even a single word. You put the food right into your mouth. Similar to that, when you count Sefira, you should say the bracha and then right away count. Okay. Now, like we said, you should actually know the meaning of the words. And I'm not sure. I'll tell you this briefly. It's going to be a little bit, you can look it up yourself. We actually have other things in mind when we do the little counting. Okay. There's a kapitel. We say this kapitel also right before Baruch HaOmer, Lam Natzech V'Neginois, and there's a certain pasuk that actually has, there's a certain part that has 49 words, and another pasuk that has 49 letters. So excluding the first pasuk, the entire kapitel has 49 words. So obviously each word is connected to a certain day. And one of the psukim, which is Yismachu, has 49 letters. So each day has its corresponding letter. It's a little bit hard to have in mind, But what you could do is when it comes up to those psukim, I actually sometimes say it instead of looking in the kapitel where the Sefiras HaOmer is, I say it where it's near the numbers. It's like this, you know what that day's word and letter is. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. When you get a little older, you can examine it. I think you have enough time today to check it out. But again, it's the kapitel that we say, Lamnatzeh B'Neginos. You'll notice that the whole kapitel, other than the first pasuk, contains 49 letters. The pasuk words, the pasuk Yismachu contains 49 letters, and you'll notice little letters and words near each sefira, and that will help you. So maybe just for the sake of showing you, I'll show you. Okay, so let's take. Well, let's just look at the. So this is the kapitel. Most of you probably just say now, depending on your age, you might be just saying the Harachaman. So Harachaman Yachzer Lanu Avedis Beis Hamikdash. Then this is the Lamnatzeach B'Neginos. That's the kapitel we say. In there, like I said, is the 49 letters. There's also the Ana B'Koyach, which altogether also has 49, with the Rosh Tevis also has 49 letters. So if you notice, next to each sefira, you'll notice, right, it says over there, I'm trying to get it up. It's zooming out again. Here it says Harachaman. Then over there it says Itanu, because that's one of the words. Then it says Tsurura, and there is a Vav. And if you notice, that says Smchu, because the Yod is from the day before. So this says Yismachu V'Yirananu. So that day would be the second Vav. Okay, if you understand that, cool. If not, also cool, not as cool. Okay, now, what happens if you become bar mitzvah in the middle of Sefiras HaOmer? It's an interesting question, because you started counting when you weren't Yotzeh, where you didn't need to, and then you started, and then now you're also in bar mitzvah, you still continue to count to the bracha, whatever. Okay, now, here's the tricky part. So first of all, like I said, you have to know what you're saying. So it's best to say it in English. And if you forgot at night, what do you do? So what you should do is count the next morning. Here it gets a little bit complicated. I'll try to explain it to you soon if you're paying attention. But listening up, you should actually, if you forgot it the night before, say it the next day without a bracha. Without a bracha, say it the next day. And therefore, the custom of some minyanim, and it should be a good custom, so let's do it right now. Even if you did it or not, it's always good to count sefira again in the morning. And by the way, you'll notice the HaYomim always has that day sefira. And you should always count it again in the morning, just because in the afternoon you say, oh my gosh, did I even count last night? So it's good. Or that night, even worse. If it comes the next night and you say, did I count last night? I don't remember that. I think I just remember falling asleep in the middle of doing my amazing homework. I was so excited about homework. 2 hours I was doing my homework. I fell asleep on my homework. And my mommy had to carry me to bed. And I said, no, I want to do more homework. All right. I don't know if the story happened, but it might have happened. And you woke up the next morning. And the next night you say, you read the count sphere and you say, wait a minute, I don't think I counted last night. So that's why it's always smart to count again in the morning, even if you're sure or not sure. It's good custom. First of all, let's do it now. So today, I'll tell you in a second. Okay, everyone say it together. HaYom, Asara, Yomim, Shehem, Shavua, Echad, Ushloisha, Yomim, LaOmer, Harachaman, Hoyachazir, Lanu, Avodas, Beis Hamikdash, Lim Koimah, Bimheina V'Yameinu, Amen Selah. Now, of course, I'm not sure if we're going to do this every day. We have to see what the future of our virtual classes is. Baruch Hashem, there's a lot of classes happening in school. So in your live class, please remind your teacher, and I hope maybe they remember themselves, hopefully, they should still do it with you, because how it works is like this. So let's say it's night, I forget to count Sefira, and I forget the entire day. It's a new night now. Can I say with a bracha now? I said, oh my gosh, I forgot to count Sefira last night, and I forgot to count today. So what do I do tonight? What's the halacha? I don't count anymore with a bracha. I should continue counting, but I cannot count with a bracha anymore. But I could save myself. So here it gets a little bit funny. If I forgot last night, and I said, oh my gosh, thank you, Chabad, you went to your shir, and I counted Sefira, and now I remember when tonight, Sunday night, I was trying to count Sefira, and I said, oh my gosh, I forgot Motzei Shabbos, because I was looking at the Havdalah candle so strong, and it made me fall asleep, and I forgot to count Sefira. but I counted today, but we did it without a bracha. So that's fine. You could still continue with a bracha. So again, let's give the example. Motzei Shabbos, you forgot to count Sefira. Sunday morning, Chabad Yud Cheder. Oh, you counted you counted Sefira again without a bracha. You cannot make a bracha by day. However, tonight I could continue saying with a bracha. If I forget last night and today, no more brachas, but I should continue counting. And right before our story, I'm going to explain why. What if you're, and this is also important, what if I'm not sure? It comes Sunday night, and I'm saying, wait a minute, did I count or did I not count? I thought I remembered all of us counting. Did I get this? I don't remember. And did I count this morning? No, because I think when Rabbi Lipsker was saying the Sefira, I thought I was a smart aleck because I said, I counted last night, I don't have to do it. And then I didn't do it today. And I think I did, but I'm not sure. What do you do? What do you think? Should I continue tonight?
Yes.
The answer is yes, I could. And all the same reasoning, I'll get complicated in a moment. Now, it is important that if you're listening to someone else say Sefira, you should have in mind that you're not being Yoitza. You should actually have in mind that when you hear someone else counting, you should actually specifically have in mind say, I'm not being Yoitza with this. Because Yidden could be right, like Kiddush, I could be Moitzi you, I could make Kiddush for you on your behalf if you're listening and you say Amen. So if you're listening to my bracha and you just listening to it, you can actually be Yoitza with me saying it. So if you hear someone else saying Sefira, you should actually have in mind, I'm not being Yoitza with this. Now, another problem is if I ask you, what's tonight's Sefira? Do you know what you're supposed to answer?
Last night.
Oh, tonight is 10. Then that's a problem because what did you just do? You just counted Sefira. It doesn't matter if it's English. In fact, I was going to do that when we did it together. Last night I did it with my kids, and I think I should continue. And then after we counted, I said, tonight is 10 days, which is a week and 3 days, because a week is 7, right? A week is 7, plus 3 is 10. Very good. Now, why do we do that in such a funny way? The Torah actually, we'll leave it to when you get older, but the Torah actually says you should count the weeks, and another time it says you should count the days. So we count the days and the weeks. So we say, today is 10 days, which is a week and 3 days. Okay. Now, if I ask you what's tonight's Sefira, and then you told me, tonight is 10, you just counted. And now you can't make a bracha anymore. So what do? I should always say, last night was 9. Now, what if I already benched? I already made, I could tell you what's tonight because I already said Sefira. It's still a good habit. First of all, 2 things. You should still always say what was last night. Don't say what tonight was. Don't say tonight is 10. Even if I already counted. Good question. Why not? So first of all, you should always have the habit because the next night someone might ask you, and you should always have that habit of saying what the last night is. Also, because the asker might always repeat what you're saying. Sometimes people repeat your answer. They want to be sure. So you say, tonight's 10, and the guy goes, so tonight's 10? So therefore, you should always get in the habit of not saying what tonight is, because even if I was Yoitza, if you ask me and you say, Menachem, what's tonight? And I say, tonight's 10, and because I say, I already counted, I could say what's tonight. And I say, tonight's 10, and you say, tonight's 10, and then you should count Sefira, but now you shouldn't make a bracha, because technically you already did the mitzvah. You said tonight is 10. So if I tell you tonight, if let's say I didn't make a bracha and I say tonight's 10, I should not make a bracha anymore for tonight. Tomorrow night I continue making with a bracha. But tonight I already made the mitzvah, so I can't make a bracha. I already did the mitzvah. So I just say Sefira without the bracha. What do I just say? 10. Now even that you shouldn't do, but if I didn't say tonight is 10, get it? If I just said, 10. So if I didn't say tonight's 10, then you shouldn't do it. But if you did do it, the mitzvah wasn't fully done, so I could say it again tonight with a bracha. Am I confusing you? Good. I'm not. Good. Very happy to hear. Now, of course, one of the things about Sefiras HaOmer, of course, is sadly we are mourning. There was a plague. There was a pandemic amongst the students of Rabbi Akiva, and they weren't respecting each other. And unfortunately, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands, 24 of them. 24,000 Yiddish Talmidei Chachamim passed away. It was a terrible, terrible plague, and it was a disaster. And to remember that, we have certain sad things during Sefiras HaOmer, because it was in this period, this time frame. And therefore, we're not going to hear any music from after Pesach. We are not going to have any, well, of course you can have some people do the a cappella. I know some people, you don't have to be careful though. Someone once told me that they don't want music in their house. Okay, I don't know. But a cappella is okay because there's no music sounding. Weddings should not be done until 3 days before Shavuos. And haircuts. Now, haircuts technically can be done during Lag BaOmer. I'll get to that in a moment. During Sefiras HaOmer, we do not take any haircuts. Technically, it can be done during Lag BaOmer, and it can be done 3 days before Shavuos. But the Chabad minig is actually it comes from the Zohar and Arizal, and the Rabbeim said they were very unhappy if they cut your hair before basically Erev Yom Tov, because since we're becoming pure, so certain tumas you wait 7 days, right? There's different things that you for tuma you wait 7 days, and then you're actually supposed to cut your nails on your hair. And the reason is because generally it says that tuma goes into your nails and your hair. Therefore, it's not good to have long nails, and you should try to cut your hair. Of course, the hair part applies to boys, but long hair actually attracts tuma. And it's interesting that before you go to mikvah, you're supposed to cut your hair. Now, because these 7 days, these 7 weeks are preparing to become pure for Matan Torah, so our custom is actually to only cut your hair, if possible, Erev Yom Tov. Of course, the only other haircut we do is a very special haircut that you don't do during Sefiras HaOmer, but we do it during Lag BaOmer, and of course, that's the upshernish. So if someone has an upshernish, someone's birthday, my nephew just Mazel Tov Yankel, just turned 3, so he will not have his upshernish till Lag BaOmer. However, the other customs of an upshernish, of course you do, like Yarmulke, tzitzis, saying Shema, saying brachas. Of course, that you don't delay just because you don't have a haircut. So that you start right away. But the haircut's only Lag BaOmer. Very, very cute. Of course, the biggest place of haircuts, who knows? Is Miran. Very good. But another special time was by the Lag BaOmer parades, and something that was afloat, a truck, just someone that had these massive scissors and all these tatis and little boys going by the Rebbe, and very cute. As they would pass the Rebbe would actually make with his fingers like this to show that he's participating, so to speak, in the upshernish. Now, before we get to our story, by the way, you could get engaged, and you could have a special different siyum and different sodas you could make, but you can't make a wedding. Also, dancing you shouldn't really do unless it's by a Chassidus Shifa bring-in or right before Shavuos. Now, of course, something that we have to all learn from is, now I just want to tell you something very, very, very interesting. Just so you're interesting to know. If someone got engaged, I'm talking about something this year. The Alter Rebbe says that some have the custom to get married in Rosh Chodesh Iyar. Now, we don't do that. We start right after Pesach. But interestingly, only by the heter of a Rav, some Rabbanim came together because it's a massive mitzvah to get married. In fact, the first mitzvah of the Torah is that Hashem wants us to be fruitful and multiply and have children and get married. So it's a very, very, very strong mitzvah, first mitzvah of the Torah. So the Rabbanim said this year, unfortunately, a lot of weddings had to be pushed off because of the virus, and some people were sick and whatever. So actually, they said that they if you ask a Rav, and you fit the conditions. They're actually letting some weddings until Rosh Chodesh Iyar. The condition, I believe, was that if they were already engaged before the virus began, and they couldn't get married just because someone was not feeling well or whatever it was. But interesting, just so you note that Alter Rebbe does bring down that if you some have the custom to push it off to Rosh Chodesh Iyar, although that's not our usual custom in special times. That's why I need a Rav to be able to help us understand how the Torah works and when and what applies. Now, I'm just going to complicate you, and then I'm going to get to my story. And here's the halach I was trying to explain to my kids last night. They kind of got it, so I'm going to try to tell it to you. Tell me if you got it. You can actually message me on the side if you got it. So here's how it works. What we call suffix brachas lahakil. If you are not sure, because a bracha is so holy, it's like saying Hashem's name. In fact, right, it's one of the Sefiras adibros. Do not say my name in vain. You cannot say Hashem's name for nothing. Therefore, if by mistake, chas v'shalom, you said, Baruch atah Hashem, and you realize you didn't need made a bracha. Now, if you just said Baruch atah Hashem, you could get lucky, because I'm sure by many of you by now discovered that the Rebbe's new kapitel in Kuf Yutes, one of the bases has a pasuk that says Baruch atah Adonai lamdeini chukecha. So that's just a pasuk in Tehillim. So if you're by mistake have an apple, if you want to make a bracha and you thought there was an apple in front of you and you said Baruch atah Adonai lamdeini chukecha, you can catch yourself. You just said Baruch atah Hashem. You can finish it off as a pasuk in Tehillim, because to say a pasuk of Tehillim you're allowed to. But what if you said Elokeinu, Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu? You can't say lamdeini chukecha. There's no such pasuk Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu. So now you just made a bracha levatala. That's actually, that's kind of basically one of the 10 commandments. Do not say Hashem's name for nothing. So that's why we say Baruch Shem. Because Baruch Shem means may Hashem's name be blessed. So then it turns it into kind of a, you're praising Hashem and blessing Hashem. So therefore we say Baruch Shem, but it's very, very careful not to make a bracha levatala. Now, because of this very serious issue, what happens if you're not sure you need to make a bracha? Now, depending what it is, but usually we say suffix brachas. Do you know what a suffix means? A doubt, unsure. So suffix brachas, if I'm not sure I need to make a bracha, then lahak, we are lenient, okay? Wait a minute, okay, just tell me if you get this. Tell me if you got this. Suffix brachas lahakil, if it's a suffix, if I'm not sure I made a bracha, then I don't make a bracha, okay? However, if I have a double suffix, I'm not sure this, and even if this, maybe that, there's a double doubt, then I could make a bracha. Now I'm going to explain to you a little bit about Sefiras HaOmer. Okay, there is actually a machloikis. There's an argument. Can one count during the day or only at night? So the Chachamim argue. Some say no, only at night. At night is the only time for Sefiras HaOmer. Some say no, you can do it the entire 24 hours. So according to the first sage, according to the first Chacham, you can only make the bracha when? At night. If you miss night, you can't make a day anymore. You missed it. The other Talmud Chacham says, says that what? No, you can actually make the bracha all day. Now, who is the halacha like? We're not sure. So what happens if you missed it at night? Now it's the daytime. One opinion says, no problem, make a bracha. The other opinion says, don't make a bracha. So what's the halacha? Well, like I told you, if you're not sure, then you have to be lenient. You cannot make a bracha. So we count without a bracha. But here's the catch. Now tonight, right? So Motzei Shabbos, I forgot Sefiras HaOmer. Today, Sunday, I'm not sure. I need to make a bracha. I want to make a bracha, but I can't, because one opinion says, no problem, you can say it. The other opinion says, no, you can't say it. So I just say, okay, I'll say it, but without a bracha. Now tonight, can I make a bracha tonight? So here's the catch. Like I told you, one opinion says, yeah, of course you can say it tonight. I told you could say it all day. But the other opinion will say, no, you can't say it tonight anymore, because I told you can only do it at night and you missed it. So here's the double. There's another argument that says, if you missed a day, can you make a bracha or not? One opinion says, there's a new argument. One opinion says, no, every day is connected. You miss one day, no more brachas for you. And therefore, if we miss a day, you can't make a bracha. Another opinion says, no, each night it's its own mitzvah. Okay, did I confuse you yet? Good. Now that's why if I count during the day, tonight I could make a bracha again. Huh? Well, because maybe the halacha is like the opinion that you could do it during the day. So I'm fine. And even if it's not like that, maybe the halacha is like the person that says that even if I missed it, I could still make a bracha. So it's a double suffix. Did I confuse you? I'm confused. So that's kind of the rule, that if it's a double suffix, then I'm allowed to make a bracha again. And that blah, blah, blah. All right. Okay. Now let's get into our story. Our story takes us back many years ago in ancient America. But it wasn't in America. It was back in Russia. And a famous chassid, his name was Rabbi Yosef. He came. He was a very big chassid. He would daven for hours. Oy, gewalt. Oh, you're not supposed to see that. He would daven for hours and then learn. And that's his whole day was about davening, learning, tzedakah, helping others. And that's what he was totally involved in. It's the only thing he knew. One day it happened. He used to once in a while visit the Alter Rebbe. And one day he comes into the Alter Rebbe. And the Alter Rebbe tells him, Rabbi Yosef, I have a new shlichus for you. I don't know why I'm wearing this belt. Oh, whatever. What's going on over here? Think about. Okay. Anyway, the Alter Rebbe says that Yosef, I have a new shlichus for you. Wow, Rabbi Yosef got all excited. What's this new shlichus? I want you to become, wow, maybe the Rebbe's going to say a Rav, but I don't want to become a Rav. I just want to be able to learn. Maybe the Rebbe's going to say I should become a teacher. I love teaching, but I don't feel like I have one. What's the Rebbe going to say? I want you to become a wagon driver. Sure. A what? A who? Oh, yeah, of course. Well, Chassid doesn't ask any questions, and he tells the Rebbe, okay, of course, and he walks out, and he's like, did I just hear correctly? Imagine the Rebbe tells a very, very big and famous Chassid who wants him to become a taxi driver. That's what it was. Rabbi Yosef was going to come now. Oh, a wagon driver. Oh, okay. The Rebbe says, Alter Rebbe, who's going to question the Alter Rebbe? Okay. Rabbi Yosef comes home and his wife's waiting. Oh, Rabbi Yosef, how was your yichidus? How was it being by the Rebbe? What brachas did he give? What new insight did he tell you? Explain to you something you're learning? I got a new shlichus. Wow, we're going on shlichus. Where's your new shlichus? What's your new job? I've been waiting that you should become a rav of a big show. Maybe you're going to become a new malamed. Did the Rebbe tell you to become a shaykin? What did the Rebbe tell you? I should become a wagon driver. Oh, that's beautiful. A what? A wagon driver. Yeah, you a what? That's like for someone that can't even learn. I mean, it's not even a Jewish job. Who comes into what? What's going on here? The Rebbe says. Oh no! I always thought okay. The Rebbe said. She was. Obviously, she knew the Alter Rebbe was, and you don't question. But she was. It wasn't geschmack to hear that. Nope. Rabbi Yosef has to now go and find he becomes a wagon driver. So he goes down to basically like a taxi stand where all these wagons would be hanging around. Oh yeah, anyone want to ride? Yeah, anyone want to ride? It wasn't around a camel. It was like a Russian. Yeah. Anyone want to ride? And of course, Rabbi Yosef comes. Okay, big chestim Rabbi. Where do you want to go? Actually, nowhere. Oh, well, you just want to pay me? No. I need. I do want to pay you, but not. Okay, what are you just for free? Well, I need you to teach me how to ride a horse. Rabbi, did you have your medicine today? Maybe you're sure you don't need your medicine. You want me to teach you? Well, Rabbi, I want to drive a horse. Please, Well, where are you making Rabbi? Big Ravin Balshoy, are you making the job? You want to ride a horse? This is not a job for Rabbi, but I teach you if you give me money. And Rabbi Yosef paid him. Okay, Rabbi, you grab the strings. Okay, let me grab this gartel over here. Rabbi, take the gartel, pull. Oh. And he was flying around the horse. He has no idea what's flying. Okay, Rabbi, maybe you are going to find another teacher. Okay, pay me the money. You're a good student. I see you next year. Okay, I that's all I know. You go find another teacher. That day that Yosef came home, it's clapped, all banged up. His first day, his wife came. Oh, hey, Rabbi Yosef, you look like a melted snowman. What happened? Rabbi Yosef says, what happened? The first time he ever touched the rein and drive a horse, he knows how to learn a Gemara. What is a horse? The next day, of course, Rabbi Yosef had to go back. And again, Rabbi Yosef asks a new guy, "Oh, Rabbi, I hear about you from my friend Chivan. You what? I will make a teach you. I make teach you, okay?" And of course, once again, Rabbi Yosef gets in. He knows a little bit this time how to start. Ich neem de gartel and mach a bissel a schlep. He knew how to start it, but he had no idea how to stop it. Hey, poor Rebbe, pull the rain. It's not raining. What rain? No, the gartel, the schmartel, whatever you call it. Oh, the next day again, Rabbi Yosef, he couldn't wait. He was so embarrassed. You didn't watching him drive a horse and buggy. They thought that Rabbi Yosef would sugar. Then rumors spread that Alter Rebbe wanted to become a taxi driver. No one could understand what was flying. This was no job for Rabbi Yosef. Let me tell you, it took him a long time. Now I tell you this story for a couple of reasons. Of course, Sefiras HaOmer is a time to work on ourselves. That's one thing I want to say about Sefiras HaOmer, that other than we're counting towards the Torah, and we're counting each day to be able to try to change ourselves. And if you notice that there's one more thing I didn't mention yet that we do during Sefiras HaOmer, we mention a Sefira. For example, today was Tiferes Shebigvura. One of the things it means is actually a midah, like pride and proud, or being kind, or being strict. And there's good midas and bad midas. Sometimes being kind can come from a good place, of course, when you want to help someone out. But sometimes giving could come from a bad place. Sometimes we could give to ruin somebody or hurt somebody, right? If you give, your friend wants to throw spitballs at at your neighbor, or throw stuff, and you give it to them, it doesn't make you a kind person because you're giving. Yes, you're still a giving person, but that's evil kind. So there's good kind, evil kind. And then, of course, similar to that, there's all these different midas. And that's what we're trying to do during Sefiras HaOmer. Also, of course, like I said about, we're going to learn soon about Pesach Sheni, we're able to get a second chance. Let's get back to our story. And Rabbi Yosef, of course, after it took him, would usually take a person about a month to learn. It took him 5 months. Finally, Rabbi Yosef, but you think he changed? He was a chassid. So he'd wake up. Of course, he'd be the last taxi driver there. Everyone would be up 7 in the morning. Okay, who wants a ride? We want to go to which city? Okay, make a pony ride. I'll give you a discount. It's for free, plus I charge you a lot of money. Very simple deal. And everyone's trying to call out to convince everyone to come to their wagon. Okay, there's only 1 ruble plus tax, 100 ruble. But don't worry. You could pay me right away. Don't worry. Fine. So everyone had their jobs, but you think Rabbi Yosef wasn't up? He was up. He was up early than every old one of these goyim. But all these goyim, what do they do? You wake up. Of course, no negavasa, no nothing. They roll out of their bed into their cereal, and they roll outside, and all angry in the morning. Rabbi Yosef would wake up just as early, if not earlier. But of course, he would go to the cold, freezing river, take a dunk in the mikveh, come daven. By the time he would come to work, Gewalt, everyone already had a job. He would come the last with his horse. Still, he always, of course, looked different, like a chassid. But he didn't mind. Anyone that needed a horse usually already got their horse. He would come late. And once in a while, some schlepper needed him. But you think of Rabbi Yosef mind, what do you think he did? He would come, stand by the stand. He would come with his sfarim, and he would learn. So it went. They made a bissel parnasa. His wife probably usually had to cover the money anyways. He was a taxi driver, like I'm a taxi driver. He knew I still couldn't ride that properly. And of course, he was always coming late. He had a shear to catch and a davening to catch. He'd take a pause. Oh, you have davening mincha. Someone be traveling. Who like to go with Rabbi Yosef? They travel for 2 hours. They still have 2 hours to go. Hurry up, Rabbi Yosef. I'm hurrying. Oh. Okay, Mincha Givad. You think his Mincha took 2 minutes? It was Rabbi Yosef's Mincha. Rabbi Yosef was a tremendous chassid. His Mincha probably took more than our Shachris. Oh, Givad. So if you wanted to get a ride, the only way you took Rabbi Yosef is you had an extra spare hour, and every other horse was taken. This is how it went. One day, many years passed. The Alter Rebbe was already nostalgic, and here's Rabbi Yosef. No idea what he's doing. He already passed it. The Alter Rebbe already went to the Olam HaEmes, the days of the Mittel Rebbe. And here's Rabbi Yosef. And you find in the back, Sefiras has Pekach in top shelf for that. Okay. Just giving boys a job for the story. Shh, guys, quiet. The middle shelf, and the middle shelf, the top, and the back. Okay. Now, so part of the story. Okay, now Rabbi Yosef one day is in a hotel, driving from town to town. He drops someone off. He's looking for a parnasa, and all of a sudden, in the hotel, a man walks in, looking quite fancy. Sits down, orders some food. Okay. I have very important business tomorrow. I need a wagon driver. And Mr. Hotel Man, how many wagon drivers you have? The hotel man says, well, actually, they're all booked, but there's one. You can call him, I guess you can call him a wagon driver. But that one, you see his name is Rabbi Yosef. You could ask him. One of the stops Rabbi Yosef would take quite often. The hotel man knew him well. But if you're in a rush, you got to really tell him, because by the time he gets out of his room, I don't know if he's sleeping till late, or I don't know, sometimes I hear noises, but in the morning, but yeah, okay. So he walks over and he tells Rabbi Yosef, yeah, Gilles. Rabbi Yosef looks up. Listen, I need a ride tomorrow, but early. I could try. Look, I don't want to take you, but you're my only choice. So can you do it for me? I need to be at 7. Oy, 7. I guess if I wake up 4 and start letting Sefiras at 4 a.m. We try to start davening. The sun's gonna be out. I can start putting out tefillin about 5:30. 5:30 to 7. Oh, only 5:30 to 7 to daven shachris. Okay, I guess I could do it. I guess I could try. Okay, we'll try to get out at 7. But make sure, a very important person and very important meeting. You'll make sure? Yeah, I'll make sure. I'll try my best. That night, Rabbi Yosef goes to sleep. Right? The back shower. Everyone up, nothing more. Okay. Maybe we can't find it. Let's find it some other time. Okay. So a thin segment. Now Rabbi Yosef goes to sleep. The next morning, Rabbi Yosef wakes up very early. But of course, 5:30 comes. He stops the door. It was very difficult for him to rip himself away from his sefer, from his chassidus. But he had to start davening as promised. It's only an hour and a half to daven shach. It's going to be difficult, very difficult. Rabbi Yosef starts starting, but of course he starts hoidu. And the moment Rabbi Yosef starts hoidu, he's in a different world. He thinks about the Eibush there, about the oneness of Hashem, how little a human being is, how great the Eibush is, about his neshama, and he's crying and like a real shachris. He doesn't look, of course, by that time, he doesn't know what time it is, b'chalal. And all of a sudden, there's a knock on his door. It's already 7 o'clock. Rabbi Yosef! You think Rabbi Yosef could hear? Rabbi Yosef is in a different world. Shema Yisrael. Davening away. And what is going on here? And the guy is mad. He bashes open the door. And he sees Rabbi Yosef there. The man's face turns white. He tries to leave. He can't. He feels like his feet are glued to the floor. He's never seen such holiness. Yosef. Voyoim shaboyah tishbo al mitzvah Yisai. Every word announced so diligently in his talis and tefillin. He looks at those boxes and he looks at his talis. Although the Chassidim already took off there, the Chassidim had the silver, even the Lubavitchers had the Keser only till the Alter Rebbe was arrested. And once the Alter Rebbe was arrested, the Chassidim all sold their silver to help fund the release of the Alter Rebbe. And from then on, to remember the Chassidus Nefesh for Chassidus, we only have now a silk inside. We don't have a Keser anymore. But nonetheless. And then Yosef is in his talis and tefillin, and he's crying with each word of Shema. And this person is moved to his core. He breaks down crying. He watches Rabbi Yosef daven Shemona Esrei. He sees literally a man standing before Hashem. Baruch the man can't stop crying. And he faints. After a while, Rabbi Yosef opens his eyes and he sees the man collapse on the floor. Rabbi Yosef quickly calls the hotel manager, the hotel owner, and he calls him and brings him to his bed. Rabbi Yosef looks at the time. He goes, well, it's already 7:30. Did he faint? Or he fainted because I made him late? Rabbi Yosef finishes davening. Comes a knock on his door. He says, the man, Carl, the man that tried to hire you, he's in bed. He seems all of a sudden weirdly very, very sick. He's asking for you. Rabbi Yosef goes to the room. By that time, till he finished davening, another almost hour passed since he started Shemona Esrei. And by that time, there was already a doctor there. And somehow this man was burning up with a fever, throwing up, nauseous. He calls Rabbi Yosef. And Rabbi Yosef comes in. Rabbi Yosef, sit down. Throws up again. It's nauseous. Fevered up. What happened? Rabbi Yosef, you should know I'm a Yid. Of course, Rabbi Yosef's eyes opened up so wide. He said, I'm a Yid. And I ran away from my community very young. I was a troublemaker. And I thought I was smarter than everyone else. And I wanted to live a freer life. Already at 12, 13, I was selling things. And I made a good business. I got friendly with a bunch of goyim. I ended up leaving my entire community. And I became completely not from. I had nothing to do with Yiddishkeit. And I married a goy and have goyish children. And this is where I am. And I was very happy with my life. But when I walked into your room, I remembered what it means, a life of truth. I looked at myself and said, what a nauseous human being. What am I doing with my life? Sooner or later, I'll be dead. And what have I accomplished on this earth? I'll have to face my creator of heaven and earth. And he's going to ask me, what did you do on this world? What am I going to say? I had a good time. I made parties. I married a guy and had a good time. I don't know what to do. I feel terrible about myself. I feel nauseous about myself. I feel terrible about my life. And he started crying. He's nauseous and his fever then shoots up again. Rabbi Yosef slowly Says, calm down. Let's find a way out. But what can I do? So he starts saying Tehillim with him. And every day Rabbi Yosef would walk in and learn something with him and learn different ways of tshuva and say Tehillim. And he said, not a Rebbe, but there's nothing like Tehillim with a full heart. And this man was crying and he became extremely, extremely sick. And the doctors were fearing that he's not going to be able to make it. He would still daily, even in his last strength, he would call for Rabbi Yosef. And then finally, when he felt like he did a lot of tshuva and he had a full regret, he said, but what could I do? There's certain avedas that I can't take back. I married a guy and I have goyish children. I can't undo. There's certain avedas you can't do tshuva for. I already brought a goyish child into this world. What a terrible aveda that you can't even do tshuva for. And Rabbi Yosef said, look, what the Eibishter does is up to the Eibishter. You have to do your part. I can never take this back. And again, he throws up and he's crying and he's crying. And Rabbi Yosef says, Hashem knows the path to a Jewish heart. You do what you need to do. But this man tried to do tshuva with a full heart. He said, Hashem, I regret everything I did. But certain things I could just say tshuva and say I'm sorry for, but certain things I can't say I'm sorry for. I say I'm sorry, but I already made this mess. I have a goyish wife and goyish kids. And he finally closes his eyes, completely unconscious. His fever is dangerously high. His life is dancing. His soul is dancing between life and death. And one day it happened. Rabbi Yosef walks in and he sees the hotel owner's face is white. So what happened? What happened? Never believe it. Of course, Rabbi Yosef did not want to hear those terrible words. Had something happened to Carl? What happened? What happened? I don't know what to do. What happened? The worst thing. Could you imagine? Is Carl still upstairs? Yeah. I don't know what to do. What happened? Poor man, he's dying. Imagine this man is dying. He's so weak. And we just got news that his house went on fire. Everything burnt, including his wife and his child. How are you going to tell that? He'll probably have a heart attack. As soon as Rabbi Yosef heard that, his eyes almost lit up, but he didn't want to show his joy that Hashem has completely accepted. He's never seen such a tshuva before, because of one thing that Chacham say that you cannot do tshuva for if you bring a goyish your child into this world, because there's no way of saying sorry. You already created this tumah. But if you do the realest type of tshuva, Hashem could kind of make a time machine and make that all disappear. Rabbi Yosef went in and says, but no one's allowed to tell Carl. He will surely drop dead as soon as he hears this awful news. Yes. Oigevald. Poor Carl, poor old Carl. And he says, I need to visit him. No one can visit him, the doctor says. He is, the littlest movement in him could kill him. Let me visit him. Well, they all knew that Rabbi Yosef would visit him every day, so he was the only one allowed in the room. Don't say a word. As soon as Rabbi Yosef closed the door, and he bent down to Carl's ears, and he said, Reb Carl, Hashem has accepted your tshuva. Your wife, your property, all that you made in not kosher ways, and your child has all been burnt. As soon as he said that, he could already see Carl's eyes moving back and forth, darting with closed eyes, and slowly opens it. What? A joy from a white face turned a red face. Blood started returning color. All of a sudden, Doctor! The doctor came running. Oh, come on, come! Oh, what? Look! What happened? Look! his resurrection. Like about. Oi. Oi, let me check. Oi, I need to check. This is a miracle. Are you a ghost? Are you a ghost? Okay. I check. Oh. It's working. The batteries work. The heart. Okay, let me check your toes. Toes say, oh. And the doctor was shocked as if someone just returned. As if someone returned from the dead. And with that, every day, Rabbi Yosef did not leave for all this time, would come in and start putting on tefillin with Carl, who told him his name was Chaim. I can't remember his real name. And he davened and put on tefillin and helped him every day until he became completely healthy. And of course, this time, Rabbi Yosef did take Chaim with him in his carriage. And instead of going home, he went straight to the Mittel Rebbe. And when first he let Chaim into the Mittel Rebbe, and the Mittel Rebbe, of course, when he saw Chaim, had a big smile, a warm smile, and he burst out crying, Chaim, and he said, Rebbe, help me do tshuva. And of course he said that you see yourself that Hashem helped you with your tshuva. And imagine that the Mittel Rebbe said, I want you to stay in Lubavitch, and I'm going to help you become a real chassid. The Frierdiker Rebbe, the Mittel Rebbe wrote a whole sefer. It's for every chassid, but it was in honor. Now, this is not, I was asking my kids before to find the name of the sefer. It's called Paikeach Ivrim, I believe. So it's similar to this. This set is from the Mittel Rebbe. This one's called a Cheder, and I think it's famous by the Mittel Rebbe. He wrote different svarim based on different chassidim. There's one that's called Paikeach Ivrim, like opening the eyes of the blind. Of course, that's tshuva, right? We see the truth. And if you go into the beginning of that book, the Frierdiker Rebbe, so my daughter asks this whispering here, is it a true story? So the Frierdiker Rebbe actually records the entire story as an introduction. So if you have the book, look at today's homework, just to go find if your house has a Paikeach Ivrim from the Mittel Rebbe, and the introduction to the book, the Mittel Rebbe has the Frierdiker Rebbe. The Frierdiker Rebbe writes the story of who this book was originally written for. Of course, it's Chassidus for every chassid, but that's who the Mittel Rebbe had intended. I believe it was actually in Yiddish. Of course, after Chaim, Rabbi Yosef Balagala, famously known as Rabbi Yosef Balagala, Rabbi Yosef, the wagon driver, today would be called Rabbi Yosef, the taxi man. He was no taxi man at all. He was a tremendous chassid. He walks into the Mittel Rebbe. The Mittel Rebbe gave a big smile at him as well. He said, I believe the Tate Shlichus is finished. The Tate's shlichus that my father, the Alter Rebbe, sent you for a special mission. You should know that all these years, it was all worth it. All these years of wagon driving to save that neshama. We learned from this story, the tremendous number one, the Ahavas Yisrael, that it was worth for a Yid to spend all that time, the many, many years of wagon driving to save this one neshama. And don't think Rabbi Yosef didn't think it's worth it. He was so happy to be a part of it. And tremendously, we could see that a Yid could totally change his ways. And not only change his ways, a Yid has the power of a time machine. And when he does tshuva for real, it all could be reverted. And with real tshuva, we could change history, change the future. And like this, all this mishagas never happened. And we'll be in the happiest times. And with all of your help, we will be in the times of Mashiach without even blinking. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget to fill out today's no specific questions, but we'll announce, I guess, what we're going to do in the future. Now, I did have a question. Last year, we did a very cool project. I was trying to remember to find it. And whoever came to our day camp last year, right before Pesach, we made a cool Sefiras HaOmer. You know those turning Sefiras HaOmer charts? So we made a very, very cool one. It was out of a container. You know where it is, guys? No? So if I want to know if we should make more of those. see if you can run and get it before we hang up. So I want you, if you can, please email Chabad Youth Virtual if you'd be interested, because just like the activity books, maybe we'll make, I'll leave on my porch, a kit where you can make your own Sefiras HaOmer thing. So maybe actually you can even type on the side. If you notice the live chat, I think you might, most of you could see it. Either type on the live chat or email chabadyouthvirtual@gmail.com. Please let me know if you're interested in that, in the Sefiras HaOmer kit. It's basically, it's very cute. We give you the strips of all the Sefiras HaOmer. We attach it to chopsticks and we stick it into this container, and it comes with really fun, cute arts and crafts you can make. I know a lot of you have it maybe from day camp last year, so I'd appreciate if everyone text me, let me know if you're interested, if we should do that, if we leave that project on my porch. Have a, yes? Well, this is not the real thing. This is I should say this is the real one. But similar to this idea, we made one with very, very cool, simple material. You can post how to do it yourself, but you actually need those number strips. So I might do that. Please email us. Don't forget to send in your Shabbos Mavarchim Tehillim raffle sheets, as well as, by the way, the HaOmer shirts. If you did it, also to send it in to Chabad Youth Virtual and fill out the form. Chabad Youth Virtual at Gmail. That's for to email either about the Sefiras HaOmer things or about your HaOmer shirts. And going on to cychabadyouth.org/virtual to fill out the forms for Shabbos Mavarchim and Shabbos. Over and out.